song in her, I think, album, The Shepherd. Very, very powerful. Sitarudi Nilikotoka. And I think it's just in line with what we were sharing earlier on, so that we come into agreement with what God says about us. And of course, a beautiful message, who God says you are. Powerful, powerful. Thank you so much, Mom, for the comment, and also at everyone else who is tuned in. It's indeed a blessing. And at this point, we're gonna get down to the newspapers just to see what is being reported. And I'm going to be starting us off with the Daily Nation. The Daily Nation today has the headlines that says things fall apart, more like that book that I think some of you have probably read. I think, was it a set book or something? But it says here, 4 months after Raila Odinga's death, the Orange Democratic Movement he founded 2 decades ago, and which fielded him in 4 successive presidential polls, is on the verge of splintering, torn apart by a vicious power struggle. Ironically, the behemoth that rallied around his presidential bid is divided over its candidate in next year's elections, with a faction led by party leader Oburu Oginga backing President Ruto's re-election, and the rebels, including Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, resisting the plan. The attempt to oust Sifuna has triggered an all-out war. So there's this, sijui tuseme ni methali ama ni msemo kwa Kiswahili, nasemaga mti mkuu ukigwa wana ndege huyumba. So that just means that when a big tree falls, those who, the birds that were basking in that tree, they will definitely be shaken. So that's a story covered on page 4 to 5. And this is a story we've been covering, I think, for quite some time now, with a lot of opposition, a lot of arguments just within and conflict within, but we are just spectators to see how things turn out. Hopefully they will have, a presidential candidate coming out by the end of it all. And it goes ahead to give us the genesis and says that the ODM was founded from a populist campaign against the proposed constitution in the 2005 constitutional referendum, during which the orange symbol represented the camp that successfully opposed the draft charter. The party has contested in the 2007, 2013, 2017, and also 2022 general elections. So moving on, seeing why Kenyan singles are embracing self-love this Valentine's. It says for many singles in their 20s and 30s, Feb 14th, which is tomorrow, is no longer a reminder of what they lack. Increasingly, they are celebrating the day on their own, treating themselves to solo dates and indulgences. Quite interesting. A story covered on page 3. Wanasema kama sijapendwa nitajipenda mwenyewe. That is what is being reported on page 3. Quite interesting story right there. And especially now at such a time as this, I think things are changing, things are shifting, and people are discovering that you don't have to wait for somebody to, give you your Valentine's. You can as well love on yourself, quite interesting. And pension here, I'm seeing relief for 7,000 retirees after deal on withdrawal, on withheld dues. It says the National Treasury is processing pension payments for 7,000 retirees, including teachers that were frozen for months following a tax dispute. The law was changed in December 2024 to exempt pension dues from taxation, but a disagreement arose over whether the group could benefit from the relief. Kanja backs senators on arrest of rogue governors defying House committees. A story covered on page 8. Ruto dangles a carrot to key voter groups in his last full year budget ahead of 2027 elections. And now moving on to the Standard newspaper this wonderful morning. We're going to be just looking at the top page just to see what is the story that is getting the headlines. And today's newspaper on the Standard is saying captured ODM is in bitter power struggle after the dramatic ouster of Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, with senior figures openly accusing President William Ruto of pulling strings from State House. Claims of shadowy funding, backroom meetings, and a coordinated push to align the opposition party with the ruling UDA have deepened internal fractures. So the result of the ouster is reported mass exodus from the party by disgruntled members. Supporters are scratching their heads on how soon the squabbles came and what is in it for the president. That's a story that has been covered extensively, pages 4, 8, 6, 7, and 8. And it says Winnie Odinga, one of the quotes here is, this fight in ODM is not about individual leaders. It is about the soul, virtues, and values of ODM. I've said this over and over again. ODM is not an SPV. Quite interesting right there. Those are the stories that are being reported, and I believe that there is more that we will continue to give us even as we proceed on, because we are at the tail end of a season where now we'll be ushered into the elections that are coming soon. So definitely there's a lot of politics here and there, but let us keep praying for our nation so that even amid the politics, amid the wrangles, we are going to have peace. Peace is what we need. The weekend edition on the Business Daily today is covering China loan deal places hurdle on 390 billion shillings SGR tension. More stories. Manufacturing imports hit a record of renewed activity. Treasury widens borrowing targets by 104 billion shillings. And also Jaindi Kisero's quote here saying mandatory takeover rules exist for one central reason: to protect minority shareholders when control changes hands. Look at that story in more detail. That is on the Business Daily. At this point, we're going to take a short break as we look at the video of the day.